Hey guys, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Yes, today we're playing another fucking Minecraft video. If you don't like it, there's a million other channels you can watch. So, yeah. It's all about options, isn't it? Anyway, I'm gonna continue playing Minecraft and show you what I built. I made a terrible decision drinking soda right before I did this video, so if I have the hiccups, I apologize. Now, Minecraft was a video where I figured it'd be easy just to talk. So I finally figured out how big this world is. It isn't like infinite like the PC version. Let me select my map. But I really just wanted to make a relaxing video, and there's new stuff that I built. Why did my inventory change? I'm so tired, dude. Let me get out of this. Are you sure you want to exit without saving? Yes. Oh, this is a bad omen. Okay, load it. That's never happened before, and I don't know how to get out of that mode. It's doing it again. I was pushing the wrong button. So anyway, as you can see, I built the Amityville horror house. If you're not familiar with that, there's two terrible first movies called Amityville Horror, and then a bunch of shitty sequels. If you want to watch any of the Amityville movies, I suggest you watching the second one with that guy I don't like. What is it? Ryan Reynolds or whatever. It's the only thing I ever liked him in, just because I don't know, he just kind of comes off as a pompous asshole. He was gonna marry Alanis Morissette for a while, so he has questionable taste in women. I apologize if any of you are Canadian and get insulted by any comments about Alanis Morissette, but yeah, he was actually kind of creepy in that movie. And the Amityville horror or whatever, it was originally a house, this part's true, where this guy, he was really a heroin addict, and he systematically took a gun and went to each room one by one and shot his whole family, which I believe was 6 people in all. It's pretty nuts. He denied it at first and said the mafia was involved, blah blah blah, and then he said the devil made him do it and he couldn't stop and all this stuff. And then later on, these people moved in and said that they were haunted. There's huge amounts of flies, which can be explained. They said during winter time, maybe the house was incubated or something. I don't know. I mean, just because it's winter time, I mean, flies can incubate something, but incubate in something, excuse me. Just for the record, the reason why I'm drinking a lot of soda and coffee, I've been up for about 24 hours now. I've had trouble going to sleep. It's been so hot and stuff. I just haven't been able to sleep. So I figured I'd make a video the best time, right when I'm super out of it. But yeah, they said there is hot and cold areas, stuff leaking from the walls, probably ectoplasm. There's my shitty little Mega Man. It's the wrong side. There, it's crashing into my puking lava statue. But anyway, they said all this stuff was happening. The last part they said was too terrible to tell anybody, so they never did. Although years later, like a few years ago, their son came up and described some of the events that they didn't describe, saying like they were levitating, and like one of the ladies started to, not one of the ladies, the guy's wife started to look like an old hag or whatever for a temporary amount of time. Although my friend worked at Hollywood Cemetery, it was on LSD and the same thing happened. But anyway, after they moved out, they allegedly took a tape recorder and recorded everything that happened in the house so they didn't forget. I don't think I remember writing my initials. I mean, I'm not that conceited. I was just really bored and thought it would look cool. This game has baked lighting. I thought it had like real lighting effects, but they're kind of just simulated. But it's amazing how much data you can fit into this. So, yeah. So there's this house that's in Amityville that's apparently haunted. Nobody else has ever seen anything in the house since that's lived there, so I don't know. Some people think it's haunted, some people don't. I did see interviews of the original people, and they were on pretty much dying and old, and they seem pretty sincere. I mean, why still lie about it after all this time? It's not like they're gonna get any more money from it, and they're not gonna live much longer. And they seem sincere, but I mean, if you've been lying since the 70s, I guess that'd be something easy to do too. But one explanation, if you believe in the paranormal, the guy was into the occult, and they did some occult-like things, which I imagine if there is such thing as ghosts and the metaphysical world and stuff like that, I imagine that 6 people getting murdered would probably thin the membrane out, making that house susceptible to something being opened or conjured up. Like if you had like a net and kept on having things go through it all the time, like I guess it would loosen up. Now, I'm not, as you can see, I'm not saying everything as if it's true. I'm being kind of either way about it. I try to keep an open mind. So what do you guys want to see first? I'm bouncing up and down. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So it's hard like to say what I believe, because I really don't know. The thing's catching on fire. That was my monument, a very failed monument, but it was supposed to be the monument to one of those statues at Castlevania. There's my Castlevania monument, as well as my Mega Man one, where his little pellet exploded there. Let's go back to the office building. I really like cemeteries, so I built one. Considering Minecraft's blocks are pretty huge, I couldn't make really realistic tombstones unless I made them gigantic. So that's that. So I consider myself for the most part agnostic, which is it's really bad to talk about religion and politics on a YouTube video, because you're gonna alienate some of your fans. This is actually underwater. I had this dream one time that there was this cemetery underwater, and you only could look at it from above, and I made the water tunnel just so you could see it. It's nothing special. It's supposed to be a statue of like a angel's wings, but I don't know. I don't think I succeeded with what I wanted to do, like, because I had this idea, I had this dream where there's like all these fountains and all these like articulate statues and stuff like that people were actually cemented inside, like the sculptures, kind of like the House of Wax. And I was always fascinated. I tried drawing pictures of it when I was young and stuff like that. So I tried to build it in Minecraft, but I'm not used to the counting everything, so everything lines up perfectly stuff. But back to being agnostic or just being open-minded. So I try to keep it open-minded. I try to keep it in the middle, like, because there's people with faith, and then there's people with faith that try to rub it in or make you feel bad, and I believe that's with any kind of extremist. That's including atheism, because atheism, whether you like it or not, is a type of faith, and I know plenty of atheists that'll admit to it, because you have faith that there's absolutely nothing there. So it's a type of it. And then there's, like, for example, like super strict Christian people that are absolutely sure, positively, without a doubt, everything in the Bible is true. Adam and Eve's real. There's no such thing as evolution, blah blah blah, despite proof. Whatever contradicts Christianity, it's because of the devil. And yeah, so obviously I can't just sit here idly and say everything in the Bible is true. I think that there's more out there, but I think that there hasn't been one specified religion that's gotten it right yet, because there's a lot of religions that are similar, but at the same time, it's like, if you believe in life after death or ghosts or anything like that, I mean, that's not even necessarily saying like you believe in God or anything like that. And I think people automatically put the two together, and I think ghosts and everything like that, if they're real, could probably be explained by science. We just don't have the ability to be able to measure stuff. I mean, I'm sure that they have like the electromagnetic EMPs and the recordings and all that stuff. There's the windows in the Amityville house, but there has to be a science behind something. But science, a lot of time, science is just an explanation for something. And there's like a lot of people, there's people in my family that swear up and down things that they've seen. I think I've seen things before. I can go either way and say it was real, it wasn't real. But anyway, I see like a lot of posts of like Christians saying that people go to hell, like that fucking idiot on the 700th club. And most Christians are nice people that I met for the most part. I mean, my mom's Christian. I grew up in a Catholic family, and although my dad was agnostic and he's straight up atheist, when he gets mad that something doesn't go right, then he's like, nothing exists, the world's a shithole. So he like has this little Darth Vader moment where he goes completely to the dark side and like has a nervous breakdown, not believing something's the dark side, but I mean, he just completely does a U-turn in all his actions and believes in something completely different. But anyway, I've seen like both realms of faith, and the faith of not having any faith, like being kind of mean to each other. And I'm not picking on the people that keep it to themselves, because somebody asked you something and you were legitimately wanted to answer. I mean, you should tell them, you should teach them or whatever what you believe. But I mean, the people are happy. Don't go and try to convince them otherwise. I don't know any conversation where somebody walked up to them and stated a bunch of facts, and then all of a sudden the person's like, oh, you said everything that I need to hear. I'm going to be an atheist or I'm going to be a Christian. That never works. But yet you'll like see videos on YouTube of these people like, do you know where you're going when you die, and all this stuff. And it's hard for me to accept certain things like gay people being punished, or being punished in general, because you can't help where you grew up. And like, you're taught one second that God's loving and all this stuff, and the next second, if there isn't a Christian, you should stone them, kill them, whatever. gay people are terrible, and then at the same time it's like we shouldn't get haircuts and shave, and the same people that are against gay people are getting haircuts and eating shellfish. So yeah, that sucks. And then there's the atheists that'll go to like a Christian area and just be like, everything you believe is basically bullshit, and they'll point out the obvious facts that the Bible's fabricated because man touched it. Anything touched by man is going to be fabricated. And I'm not even saying the Bible's the absolute truth in anything, I'm just using an example. And yeah, they try to point it out and basically make the person kind of look dumb, and it's just, that kind of sucks too, because as long as a person isn't hurting somebody or their family or anything else, if they're genuinely happy and you believe that absolutely nothing's gonna happen and they're living their life happy, so what? If nothing happens, they're not gonna know, and if they're right, they're right. They'll go to heaven, hopefully, or something like that, and great things will happen. But if they're wrong, like Bill Murray says, if they're wrong, nothing happens. We'll go peacefully, quietly. We'll enjoy it, but they won't, because they won't exist. They'll be like before they're born. Although I have these weird memories. Maybe it was before the womb. I always feel like I have memories of like being in oblivion. It's super weird. I can't explain it. But yeah, so why would you like rain on their parade if they're not being disrespectful for you? On the other hand, there's atheists and Christians that are just trying to be helpful, saying like, you should think, you should never believe in anything somebody tells you, which you shouldn't. You should come up with your own conclusions. Don't believe something just because your mom told you it. If you grew up around something, you know, whatever, question things, question everything. And I know that's anti-Christian in most beliefs, but like seriously, if you were given these gifts of free will and thought, and you're supposed to use them and something doesn't feel right, obviously there's a problem there. And you have to know that men basically wrote the Bible. They took a bunch of books and took sections out of the books, and if there was something ridiculous, like for instance like mythological creatures, like, you know, Lilith, succubuses, stuff like that, which are usually in the Old Testament, and then weird stuff in Ezekiel and stuff like that. Like some versions of scripture have it, some versions don't. For instance, the Catholic version of the Bible is the only one that mentions Raphael, so which is an angel, not a Ninja Turtle. But yeah, so there's all different things. But if the people are happy or whatever, you know, why are you gonna try to make them feel bad for believing something, as long as they're being respectful? And like for instance, I had Mormons call me not too long ago. They don't give up, because I had this thing where I was just curious about the Mormon faith, so I started attending church there just so I could learn more, because it's kind of a taboo thing and I wanted to know more about it. And they thought I was there to get baptized, apparently. This is at my house. I thought this was the Amityville house for a second. I've been in this long speech and I'm half asleep, so I'm sorry if any of this is all fucked up that I'm saying. But anyway, they called, and instead of being an asshole, I said I'm not interested, but I also said thank you for trying to help me, because I mean, the people legitimately care. They feel like they're helping you go to heaven, even if what they believe isn't real. If they're trying to help you, you have to be grateful for that. And then I see a lot of posts on Facebook teasing Christians, or like that 80 on 700 club or whatever that said, like that tornado recently, he said that happened in Oklahoma because people didn't pray as often. I was like, are you serious? What an asshole. Like, how could you even say something, even if it was true, which it's not. But I was just like, I mean, could you have waited a day or something if that's what you really believe, so the family could actually mourn that their kid was crushed by a house or something? I mean, grow the fuck up. But yeah, so anyway, so I'm dragging it on. So basically, I was like, you never hear people attacking agnostic people much, and then I looked into it, and then I found these forums where it's like Christians and atheists attacking agnostics at the same time, saying that they're cowards, they stand on the fence, they can't make up their mind about anything. And it's like, to me, it's like the most legitimate thing. I don't know what's out there. I can't confirm or deny anything because I don't know. I haven't died and come back, and I don't know anybody who has, but I also know people who said that they've seen life after death. I've had people that are clairvoyant. People have said things about people that died that there's no other possible way that they would know about it, stuff like that. I believe in ESP, and like, and even sometimes I think ghosts are just like kind of like energy footprints. I mean, because we all run on energy in some shape or form. Everything exists because even a ghost would be electromagnetic impulses in your brain creating what that reality or that hallucination or whatever. But they're just like, atheists can't make up their mind, they're cowards, that you have to believe in something, blah blah blah. And it's not true. It's like, I believe in that. I don't know everything. It's like somebody saw a spider and they asked me if it was poisonous, and I didn't know. Like, what am I gonna say? No, it's not poisonous, I'm not sure. And they like go and pick it up and it rots their flesh and their head falls off. It's like, I don't know. It's like getting one of those tests that are multiple choice. You could pick A or B and hope that one of them's right. You can be sure that one's right, which really can't be sure realistically. Or you could just skip it and just be truthful about it, because we don't know. Like, everything's a type of faith, and I just think it's the closest thing. And I think I don't believe in anything such as magic, because magic is the exact opposite of science. It's basically the absence of like explaining something. It's just like, I don't understand why that happened, so it's magic. It's magic, that's why it happened. But it's like, if there are ghosts, like, or energy that represents like a certain time frame or something, like I accidentally broke my door by accident trying to activate it. Okay, I should fix that. So it's like, I believe that things are all made out of molecules, and like, and a lot of people are like, believe in extremes, like if there's a life after death, there must be a God and all this stuff. And I'm not saying that there isn't or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, what if there's just life after death and we exist in a different form like we do here, and that's it, there's nothing else, we just existed. I mean, we can't even comprehend, really, we can't even fathom like infinity or forever or time. So it's just like, there's so much stuff our limited minds cannot understand, and the universe being infinite, and it's the same thing as people down in extraterrestrials. So saying you don't know something and just keeping an open mind, to me, is the most realistic approach. But I mean, these people are like being super mean. I just walked in lava. I just stated the obvious. So this is an Amityville house. It took me a long time to make it. I still haven't really furnished it. There's Halloween black and green. It was just funny to see like the atheists and Christians team up for once, of course at the agnostic person's expense, but it's nice to know a community was getting together for once that usually aren't into each other. But it's just like, I don't know, I think extreme atheism is the same as extreme like evangelical like Christians that are just as pompous or whatever. Like I thought about one time writing a book of rules, just and calling it a Bible, because you know, if I say something out loud people won't get it, but if I write it in a book, people like that physically own things that says get out in poor handwriting, and it's supposed to be a bloody face. I didn't go in the basement. I actually somewhat followed blueprints of the original house. It's supposed to be blood on the floor, but it looks obviously like carpet because that's what it is. I couldn't get the curly staircase, so whatever. So this is the basement. It's pretty empty. This was actually a bitch to build because there's water, and this game has the worst water physics. Like, water can just appear out of thin air, and the only way really to get rid of it is just to build around it. So I'm just basically just getting at the point that I just didn't understand, like, why they're like, what's so bad about being on the fence about something if you don't know? It's like admitting a weakness that you don't know. And I guess in a way it's a lack of faith, but I know that I don't know for a fact what happened, so in a way it's the most logical thing because I don't know. But like something deep down inside says that there's more to this world than what we see, and there's so many encounters, like people, and at the same time, and I know you can have like a mass hysteria, which is sometimes why things like Jonestown happens, where you can convince a bunch of people of the same thing, or basically World War II, for instance. So there's ways of brainwashing people. So that's pretty much the house. It looks bigger on the outside, but it's a pretty big house. I was surprised when I did the blueprints. I kind of went back to my quality control days where I actually remembered how to read blueprints. So it was a nice little exercise. I was pretty proud of myself. Now, if I didn't make sense in this video, this is like the worst time to talk about anything to do with religion or any time to do with politics or whatever. Which, I'm not going to talk about politics, so that's another thing. Like, people hate being told what to do, but at the same time, their whole life they're told what to do in some form or another. Well, the average person, whether it's their parents their whole life, until they turn into adult, and then when you turn into adult, it's like a boss or a spouse or something, so you're never free. So I think it's funny when people fight so hard for little bits of freedom. Like, if it's something major, yeah, I can understand that, but something like ridiculous, I can't think of any examples, but something not that important where people are complaining about the government and Congress and it's all messed up, blah blah blah, it's unconstitutional. Yeah, but at the same time, most of your life you've been told how to live one way. Why are you so shocked about it now? You're always controlled in some way, which is another reason why the Bible's been so modified, because it's something that people really believe in. So what better way than to modify something people really believe in to make them feel a certain way? And I'm not saying everything in there is fake, because there is historical events that happened during that time. So I believe there is things to get out of it, but again, I highly, if I say anything, I'm not going to preach, because I respect anybody who believes in something as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. Because I said I wanted to write a book of rules, but it was like a book of rules of respecting each other and making ground rules where if you believe in something, it doesn't hurt yourself or others. Stuff like that, and just celebrating being into something or not being into something. So I have respect for whatever, and I'm just, right now, I guess I'm at a stage in my life where I don't know. When I was a kid, I was probably sure of the Catholic faith, because that's what I was told. But then when you get older, you start to question everything, which is good. Some people don't question it, or some people later on in life start to believe something or not believe something. But, you know, if they're legitimately happy, you need to understand that there's nothing that you can say that's going to convince them. There might be one or two people in the whole entire world, I don't know, but I've never come across a conversation where you've had an argument and the person's like, oh, well, now that you said that, I'm going to completely change my whole belief system. It doesn't happen. So if they're happy, why are you going to try to convince them? Because if they're Christian, they think they're going to heaven, and they're right. Good for them. And if you're an atheist and you don't believe that they're going to heaven, and you're right, you know, they're happy. So what? They die happy. If it's like before they're born, they won't know any better. So it's really win-win if you think about it. Sometimes, like, ignorance is bliss, you know. So yeah, like, it's just sometimes I just see mean posts that are geared towards one faith or lack of faith or whatever, and I just think it's ridiculous to just be understanding and just keep an open mind. And if you really believe in something, make sure it's something that you believe because of not what anybody told you. It's because you came to your own conclusion. If somebody's legitimately trying to be nice to you and try to help save you, even if it's offensive to you because you don't believe in what they do and they're trying to help you, as long as they're respectful about it, keep in mind they're trying to help you. You know, they might be wrong, but, you know, be grateful that somebody cares enough to try to help you. Some people don't give a shit. Some people think they're getting a gold ticket to heaven if they help you, but, you know, just be respectful if people are trying to help you, because that's cool. Because there's a lot of people that I've considered friends that would probably help me less than some of the people that I've never met before, and which is why I don't hang out with those people anymore, but whatever. But yeah, I think I've gone long enough in this conversation. I hope you got something out of my rambling. I know this video is probably boring, but I'm tired and I wanted to post something. Thank you guys for watching, and again, I'm just speaking like just a talk. I haven't come to any major conclusions or anything, so if you're offended or whatever, don't be. There's no satire, which is why I shouldn't have picked this time to make this video, but there is no intentions to be disrespectful to anybody. It was the fact that other people were being disrespectful. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.